First of all, the location itself is enjoyable. You know, the difference between our old location and here is on 25th, we're kind of tucked away. We're on a corner, but you never see anybody. Did you see some cars? A few, but most of them are trucks, and it's different. There's traffic here, there's activity on this corner. It's a fairly, everybody knows this corner because of the doggone roundabout, which somebody's gonna have to explain roundabouts to me when they have some time, because I don't understand them. I understand they're safer, I trust it, I just don't know how. We can sit out the window. We have windows now that we can look out and see like that. It's just a more prominent spot. From my standpoint, we needed to bring awareness to the radio station. One of those things is advertising. One way to advertise is billboards. Well, we didn't have anything at the old building. Here we've got a big illuminated sign here that if I was just gonna find a billboard like that in this kind of spot, that's $500 a month or so. So that's almost a bonus for us, you know. It's worked out really well, I think. Several decades ago, you know, and it's undergone certain changes like every commercial building does. You know, this was a gas station at first for many, many years. It's fun. It was an old Texaco station. You know, it's fun to talk to people that remember it as the old Texaco station. We were in Hoozles at the Lakes, and Casey's wife said, you know, I worked there when it was a Subway. And it was a Subway just a short period of time, I think. And then, of course, the last several years before it closed was a Verizon store. And it was really uniquely set up for that. But when I was looking for a different location, I didn't have to have one, I desired one. But I think we got this at a good value. I think it's exactly the right size. It's more prominent than I could have imagined. And it's in great shape. So it's worked out pretty well. Well, the freshness of it, you know, the contrast in the two buildings. Radio has changed an awful lot since that building was built on 25th. That was built specifically to be a radio station. You've been in that building many, many times. It's not an uplifting building. It's not a bright, cheery building, number one. And number two, it seems deserted because it's so big. There was a time that building wasn't big enough. Can you imagine? You know, they had a news department, not a part-time news person. And we're one of the few stations of our size that have somebody doing news. And yet, it's not a job. They had a department. They had 2, 3 sports people on staff all the time. They had copywriters. They had multiple salespeople, let alone on-air people, management, secretarial, traffic people. At one time, that was too small. That boggles my mind, you know, but it's true.
That's a two-parter for me, 1A, 1B, because 1A is certainly that we are so much closer as a staff and a team. The other building didn't seem that big, but you know, where Steph was and where I am, so when her and I have to interact or something, and it's almost like you got to grab a bottle of water because it take a while to get there or something. Now, it's almost, we're in shouting distance almost. It's really nice having that. And the windows in the FHR room, that is easily one of the best things about this new building. It's something in the very first conversation I had with Marcus that he visioned and he wanted was going back to kind of old school radio when our parents were growing up and the radio they would listen to, and the community station was right in the middle of town and it was all opened up and people could look inside and everything. Having that, a modern version of that, and just that view. We got this family of eagles that live across the street that I mean, it's must-watch television for me. I can't get enough of it, let alone all the things that our guests have been able to enjoy. It's been really nice.
Oh, we've got a radio that goes to the Depression era. that we're in the process of completely redoing so it's operable again. It's really kind of cool. And to me, I like those antique-y things and stuff like that. That's absolutely my favorite. We didn't bring every little plaque and stuff that we had. We were second place in 1979 for the cow milking contest and stuff. Those stayed up over in the old building. But if you look, Kev, just to your right are the 3 plaques for the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame, and the 3 Hall of Famers that we have here, including our current engineer Chuck Gennaro, his dad Jack, dedicated so many decades of their lives to this very community and this radio station. Yeah, those I like too.
Pam? No, but no, we love Pam. So, right out the door here are 3 plaques of to me, the Mount Rushmore of WFHR. I would add Carl to it. Other than that, I think that's our Mount Rushmore. Those are the reasons we're here right now. You're talking to us, all that. Bringing those with us was mandatory. And it was nice that even with new ownership, they got that right away. They were on the same page as us. And there's something about having those here where it reminds us that building had such a history and everything, and that it was beautiful, and it's a rich, wonderful tapestry. But we never really got a chance to kind of make our own marking. And it's not just us, it's the group before us and even the group before them. I've talked to Greg Gack a little about this and stuff. Whereas now with this, we're the people setting the trend here. We're kind of the ones setting things, and we do our job. The next group, the group after, they'll be able to do that as well.
Right near the entry door, there's a large, it's a reproduction of a newspaper page. It came from one of the Wisconsin Rapids Daily Tribunes in the 1940s, and it's an advertisement about WFHR and the networks of the time, and all the staff, some of the network people and the local people, I believe, are all featured on there, and a list of programming, and it's quite sizable. I think it was a reproduction that was made the exact same size as the original, and it's in the entryway. And that came about a number of years ago when we had a group of people that were redecorating one of our rooms in the old building. And we thought, oh, let's turn it into a radio room, kind of a radio salute room. So we gathered some older radios, and a few of those older radios have been brought over here too. There was people that donated radios, and all of a sudden there's radios popping up all over the place. And we had those on the shelves. And but I had this newspaper article. I had a old copy of a newspaper. It was from our family. I believe it was probably in my mother's or my grandma's collection of newspapers that they kept for some reason, and it was during the war times, during World War II. And I brought it and I said, oh, look at this. This is, from WFHR way back in the 1940s. And they thought, oh, that'd be great to get a reproduction of it. So we sent that away to one of our local camera shops at the time, sent it out of the city to get it redone, and it was framed very nicely, and I still have the original newspaper, but it's nice to have that here too. So that was a little bit of, that is history from, something from our heritage, from our station, and that item was, put up there in that building, and but it's a reflection of way back to the early years of WFHR radio.
Well, it's something I think I'm good at. The thing that I did here, and the weaknesses that maybe an architect would see, I openly acknowledge. But because of the layout of the building and because of the physical needs that we needed, every room's about the same size. Both studios, both WIRI, WFHR, the sales room, and the room that you and I are sitting in, they're virtually identical. But there was no other way to do that. That's a hair boring to me. I don't think it overcomes you when you come in, but that in a perfect world, I'd like to have seen a little more asymmetry instead of it being all similar. When I sketched it out, I think this is the only room that's, no, not even that. This was gonna be one of the studios. It changed so many times. And it's worked out pretty well. We were all set to put the FHR studio in the corner of the building. And then the furnace kicked on, and then we thought, uh-oh, that's a little too much noise. And to move the furnace was thousands of dollars. To move the studio was about 20 bucks. That's what we did. I was worried about that, frankly. Pam has been with us for many, many years, since high school. That's the only building she had ever worked in. And I was concerned about it. She met her husband there. She lost her husband there. I was concerned. She's such a good, kind person and a valued employee that I was concerned about her. I was worried about her. And she's taken to it fine. There was some trepidation. Of course there was. I had some, for goodness sake, and I've been around 7 months. But she's been really good. James, who had a real affinity for that old building, but has an equal affinity to progress and to change and to growth, and he's taken to it really well. And everybody else hadn't been around too long, frankly.
Talking to people who have done this before and having a couple friends in the industry that have been around 30, 40 years and talking about what we've been doing, every one of them marvel that we've been able to pull off what we have. There have been some hiccups like anybody I think would expect with any move. I'm more impressed with the positives and the things we've been able to pull off in a short amount of time, and it's an everyday thing. It's one of those things that keeps the job fresh and interesting, but also anytime you get close to being frustrated about it, I think you take a breath and you immediately focus on, well, but we have all this going in our favor and all this to positive on and to focus on. So it's like any other move, but with this one, I think that the positives there's so much more.
I think it's been going quite well. We're settling into our area. All of our employees have their own little niche or office space. We are creatively using the space that we have. It's a little smaller than the building that we moved out of, but we are just, we are thrilled to be in such a nice, bright, newly remodeled building. It's, it's sunny here in the afternoons and in the mornings, and get a chance to see the sunset. It's well lit outside in the evenings. We're not isolated like in the former building that we're in. There's always traffic going in this neighborhood. It's just a busy place. We're highly visible to outsiders and people coming through on highway on 2nd Avenue there. There we are. You can see our call letters. They're nice, big, bold, outstanding. Like I said, I think we're settling in quite well. The last of us of the staff moved in on January 4th, so we got our areas all cleaned and ready, and we're making it go. And if we have something to bring in, we're finding a place to tuck it in and find just to know where to put things. Sometimes that's a little bit of a challenge, but everything's going good, and it's nice to have new furniture. Most everything that we have here is new, so we did bring some older pieces over, a few odds and ends, but it's nice to have the new fresh look and nice bright lighting, and we're kind of out of the 80s, seeing that the building was built for us then, and it had its day in the sun then, but it's nice to be where we're at here. There's a lot of memories from the old building. We, I guess you can always keep your memories in your heart, but we were forever having a lot of guests come into the old building like we do here. So, but there's some of the memories of some of our guests over the years. We hosted a lot of the community people. We hosted a lot of our business associates and advertisers. They were often coming over to the studios to record their commercials or visit with their account representatives. We had, for many years, WFHR was an affiliate of Milwaukee Brewers, and we would host some of the personnel from Milwaukee Brewers. In January, they would go on what they called their hot stove road trip. I believe that's what they called it. And they would come to different parts of the state, and they often would include WFHR and Wisconsin Rapids on their trip. And so we would have some of the players, some of the current roster players, and some of the former players in studio with us. I know there's a picture with Carl and I and Jim Gantner, and we've got some photos with Phil Garner in the studio and some of the players that were there too. And sometimes, you know, you never knew which of these players would really go on and prosper and have a great career. So I believe Ricky Weeks had visited us very early in his career. He was in Wisconsin Rapids. And we had people from the, governor's office, tourism office, a few dignitaries like that. There was always people coming over to the radio station. I guess, I have a lot of memories because I did work in that building for the entire time that WFHR was there. So there was, celebrations. I remember one of our former employees used to have a little, around Christmas time, he'd host a little party for all the employees, and they'd bring along their, guest. And there'd be wine and beer and maybe some cheese and sausage, and we just have a nice time. So thanks, Louie. There was, just a lot of good memories, good things happening too in that building. And sometimes for a number of years we had a gal that would organize a monthly potluck, and she'd put up a sign up and it'd have a little theme, and so there'd be foods from whatever that selected theme would be. And we had a lot of closely knit people that, we worked together, and some of us have still remained friends for a long time. So, but I guess that's all transferable over here too. We're having a lot of guests coming over here now and getting a chance to show off our new building and new camaraderie with our staff that we have now. So there's still a lot to look forward to here.
We're very proud of it. We're looking forward to the spring and summer with the egresses that we have into the parking lot and stuff. We're going to set up a food truck once in a while and have little listener giveaways, or probably we'll work with people like the United Way, and if it's a couple bucks for a hot dog, all of that money would go to the United Way and stuff, and people could pull right in and pull right out again on the street. It'd be pretty easy to do, that kind of stuff is I'm excited to do. The building's location and its situation on the property allows for a lot of that. We've got a lot of parking for a station that doesn't need that much parking. There's room for people. We like it when people visit, because we're proud of the building. Hey, you know what I'd like to do now is let me show you the building. Hey, come on in, I'll show you the building. This is WFHR and WIRI here in Wisconsin Rapids. Okay, well, this is our foyer area. What we wanted it to be is open and warm and inviting, and I think that we've come pretty close. Pam, of course. Hello. Wave to the people, Pam.
Hi there.
All right. Pam, of course, is the heart and soul of WFHR and WIRI, and this is where it is. A little waiting area for people that are waiting to come on, and so it doubles. It's the business office, and it's a little bit of a reception area, and just a comfortable place to wait or to work. Kevin, this is kind of the sales room where the salesmen work. Now, hopefully they're out working, but they're here in the radio business now. After the sale, when you make a sale and you contract with someone for commercials, that salesperson gathers the information for the commercial. Now, they may write it, and then one of us, a lot of times Seth or myself, will work it around a little bit, We'll develop who's going to read it. You know, we've got a stable of voices that read commercials. And then Seth or Bob Goff will put it to music or put a bed, what we call a liner or a bed behind it. So you hear a little bit of music, so it's uplifting. It causes you to listen to the radio commercial just a little bit more. But this is where they work. Now over here, this is the production studio. If you move a little bit closer and look in, you see our Seth Hebheger working on a commercial now, looking at the volume levels and everything like that. There's a little bit more to it, like most anything that you don't know enough about. Seth works hard, and he's back and forth between a couple of the rooms, just trying to get everything right. Now here's the brains of the radio stations themselves, all run on computer, everything is automated. All of this is pretty much new equipment, and we're working the bugs out of them as we speak. We're pretty much there. We got a little bit time left to do, but all these things a generation ago would have taken up this whole room. Now they take up a rack and a third, so it's amazing. Well, let's shoot over this way. And just a couple of offices that everybody kind of uses. This is pretty much Seth's area here. People like James, the on-air staff, really don't need a desk because the studios are really their workspace. So this is kind of Melissa's desk, and whoever comes, they just throw it up. We'll probably stick another desk in the corner here before too much longer, just to have some place for people to gather their stuff. And this is the FM studio, WIRI. I gotta quit saying that. This is WIRI because we're both FM now, with WFHR being at 97.5 FM as well as 1320 AM. This is mostly automated now. We don't have anybody coming in. They do it off-site. But all of the programming and things like that, you may want to show the one screen just to your left there, Kevin, that's the wide orbit system that programs the music, and it shows what's coming up. We're playing a song now by Eddie Rabbitt. We can't go on living like this. And after that, there's a short update, and there's commercials. Commercials are in green. The Lake Hoban Cabin Show coming up in Madison, and we're giving away tickets, by the way, on WFHR. Fatheads Rapids RV, those are the next two commercials that are coming up. And it shows you all of the different music and stuff that's there. If you look, it says shows results, number 1 to 24 of 12,597. There are 12,597 pieces of information into that computer. The vast majority, probably 11,000 plus, are songs. So we have the songs that are most popular and things like that. We've called up that particular screen on the right side, that library. Those are all Christmas songs. Those are Christmas songs that we have programmed into the library. Another computer screen here, and just the board, microphones, and things that you would typically expect to find in any type of a studio. You asked me what we brought across. We brought most everything was new. The microphones they had were state of the art. You'll see that in these different groups that pop up, old disc jockeys, frankly, they all talk about how the microphones of 25 years ago were superior to what they have today, or they're like them. And these were state-of-the-art Electro Voices, RE20s. If you say RE20 to an 80-year-old disc jockey, they'll tell you all about them, just instantly. It's amazing. I never even heard of them till a year and a half ago or so. And this is the WFHR studio. Come on in, I'll show you. It's the same system on the back, just different music fed into it. A little bit different board, a little bit bigger board. We take more phone calls off the air and on the air and things like that. So there's a little bit more to it. We also do more interviewing and things here, so there's other microphones. We've got 2 mics along with whoever's running the show. So there's 3 mics all together. There'll be a 4th mic pretty soon. We're just waiting to get the right parts. The same supply chain stuff that's everybody else is fighting, we're fighting as well. We're playing more music on FHR than we have in years. And we're really kind of a hybrid radio station now, because in the morning, entertainment and information, and then at noon, all request hour, and then from 1 o'clock on, we play music. Now, then in the evening, we may carry the sports game. We're still gonna carry local sports. We carry Nakusa High School, some select games in Rapids. We're the voice of the Badgers in this area. We're the voice of the Marquette Golden Eagles in this area. And of course, in the summertime, the Rafters. So we're still a sports, news, entertainment, music station. We're kind of a conglomerate of all of those. And last but not least, we're back in the break room where you and I started this afternoon. You see Seth and Beth taking a break in the break room. What could be more natural, huh? You might notice nobody brought me a sandwich, huh? But that's exactly what this is for. A little bit of conference room, a little bit of break room, got a coffee machine around the corner and a refrigerator and a microwave for anybody who wants to do whatever they want to do. It's going to be kind of an all-purpose room in that regard. Well, that's our tour here at WFHR and WIRI. Thank you for stopping by. You know, our doors are open every day, Monday through Friday. If you want to stop by and take a tour for yourself or take a look around, this is WIRI, which is 105.5 FM, and WFHR, 97.5 on the FM dial, and still at 1320 AM. Thank you very much. Just know, this is always your radio station, this whole community. That's what this is for. Thank you.